Imagine a place free of problems, scams, and thievery. A place where comfort is your only concern. Imagine Comfort Time Live.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another great Friday edition of Comfort Time Live. I'm Tom Platania, your host. And remember, you can hear Comfort Time Live right here on WPSL 1590 every Friday at 11:05. But also, we turn around, I air the show on the internet radio at Blog Talk Radio. I've had tons. I'm up into like 3,000 to 4,000 hits a month on the show.
So that's like Comfort Time Live on demand.
That's exactly
like
what it is.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to pay for it like you do Comcast or any of those other ones. It's just a free click there on Blog Talk Radio. You can get to that right on ComfortTimeLive.com. You'll see, obviously, you'll see the main video on the bottom left-hand side. And just to the right of that, you'll see the Blog Talk. And not always is the show that's on the video the same as what's on the Blog Talk. And what I do is usually record this show, and then I'll play it periodically throughout the week on Blog Talk. A little bit different listening base through Blog Talk. But hey, you know, if we're getting the word out there to another 3,000 or 4,000 people on top of the people that are listening here at WPSL, man, that's a great thing, because that's where we're at. Now, well, today's show, does size matter? That's the topic of the show today.
I'm thinking air conditioning. I'm thinking yes.
We're going to be talking about today a little bit later on in the show. We're actually also going to have our trivia question today, and we are also going to have our tip of the day sponsored by Ben Franklin Plumbing, 866-867-5309. Never going to forget that one.
They are clever.
Yeah, it's good. It's good whoever come up and thought about that. So we had a lot of great conversation last week from some of our callers calling in. One thing I have to ask, ladies and gentlemen, is when we do the trivia questions, we offer a prize. There are a lot of people that want the prize that don't get in turn on the phone because someone else has beaten them to the phone call, which is fair. That's what those trivia calls are all about. However, the folks calling that get on don't take the prize. So we hurt another listener who perhaps wanted to get in on time and get the prize. So we just need to make it fair. So, you know, if there's times that I open up the trivia lines and we're not offering a prize, by all means, I want everybody who wants to answer that question to please just jump on the lines and answer the trivia question. But we offer these benefits because the economy's tough, and we're trying to offer some help to the people out there that maybe can't afford a maintenance, who can't afford to have their air conditioner looked at or their plumbing inspection done, or don't know what to look for. So, you know, it's not just a ploy to get somebody in your house to, you know, beat you up for money. It's a gift, and we want to give it to somebody. So please, when we do offer a prize, if you are not going to accept the prize, and this may be harsh, and I'm sorry if it is, but if you're not going to accept the prize and we're offering a prize for the trivia question, I politely, respectfully ask you not to call to answer the question. Okay? Let the folks who need the prize, who want the prize, let them to get on the phone lines. Okay? I would respect that if you would respect that for me. So I appreciate it. I had quite a few people call me last week who obviously, you can get my personal phone number for the business off of Comfort Time Live. And they called and said they weren't able to get in, and they had it. And they asked me some questions, and that one question popped up. How many times does somebody call and answer because I don't know how they came up with this question. If maybe they could tell by the tones of people's voices that, I don't know.
Let me
shaking your head.
Well, because I've been doing radio for a very, very long time. And
how long?
Oh God, over 30 years.
I didn't want you to answer that.
Yeah, no, it's been a very long time.
And you're only 36, so you started at a really young age.
Yeah, it was kiddie radio when I started. But that's the nature of prizes.
Okay.
That's what happens. you can give away a family 4-pack of movie passes, call in and win. Everybody wants to win them, and then they'll sit at the front desk.
And they will.
It
Okay.
happens.
All right.
Yeah.
So they
don't
may
feel
not,
bad.
They
don't
may
feel
not
bad.
in the beginning have the intention of not taking the
Exactly.
gift, but somewhere down the road something happened and something changed. Okay.
Right.
And that's
Exactly.
fair. That's fair to say. If you start off with the best intentions, then hey,
You get a pass.
pick up the phone. Exactly. You get a pass, pick up the phone, give us a call. I just want to be fair. I'm here. The show
They're
is
not
here.
just rejecting your prize.
No,
It just happens.
Well, it's not rejecting it, but I want to make sure it's not people just calling up because they want to hear themselves on the radio and they want to answer a trivia question to make them feel
Well,
good.
they can wait for, if they don't want the prize, they can wait for the person to get the answer, and they can go, yeah, I was right. Cool.
Exactly. But Comfort Time Live is here to help the economy, to help people, to educate people, and to provide something to the community that no one else in the community is doing right
Then
now.
it's a cool prize.
And most of the time, it's a great prize. It's
Mm-hmm.
a prize that could not only saving you money, but save you money in the long run.
Then, and even if everything checks out okay in your house, you've met a professional that you could count on. When you do have a problem, you can call them and have them come back.
And if they make some suggestions and you're not interested in doing,
Mm-hmm.
there's a word that you can say. It's a very simple word. No, thank you.
Yeah.
That's actually
Oh,
two
we're not
words.
ready to do that
Yeah, we're
yet.
not ready.
Yeah.
That's okay. And
We're
that's all
just
you have
not
to say.
ready.
And the people that are sponsors on the show that give the prizes away, they're not pushy. They're not going to strike you up against the wall and say, if you don't take this. No, they're just, okay. They bob their head, they shake your hand, and they walk away because they know that they are serving a purpose just like we are here on Comfort Time Live. So enough of that. Let's move on down the road. So we're going to have our trivia question here a little bit later on. We're going to do our plumbing tip of the day, sponsored by Benjamin Franklin Plumbing right here out of Port St. Lucie. And give them a call at 866-8675-309. It's about your water heater. Now, we've talked about this before, which is the ano rod that's typically in the center of your hot water tank, okay, or your water tank, but it's a hot water. And what that rod is, it's in the very top center. And if you look at the very center of your water heater, you'll see a little dimple. And in that dimple, there is usually it looks like a brass fitting at the top that screws in. And what that is almost the entire length, about 4 or 5 foot long, of the water heater that goes inside. And the water surrounds this rod. And what it is it's a long, like a zinc or some kind of a sacrificial metal that the water that's in there has contaminants in it. And those contaminants can be corrosive. And you're drinking that most of the time.
I was
So
just thinking,
that's
wait a
what-
minute, that's the same water I drink.
Exactly. And that's why last week they were talking about, or 2 weeks ago, I was talking about the whole house
filter.
filters, which
Yeah,
is an
super idea.
excellent idea. Maybe you can give them a call and they can give you some estimates on cost. But what that does is that helps to stop the rest of the tank from being eaten by the corrosiveness of the water. And the importance of that is the water the corrosiveness eats away at that rod. And once that rod has given up all it can give up, it starts eating away at the rest of your water heater. And that's when you start to see the edges and seals and whatnot of the water heater really start to rust and corrode because it has nowhere else to go but now to attack the water heater. So you really need to look at that. Now, unless you're an extremely handy person, I recommend that you don't even try this to take that hex screw out of the top of it. But if you are fairly handy, and you can do that, of course, turn the water off, the electricity off, and everything. But you don't want there to be any more than 3/4 of an inch. The entire rod is less than half the original 3/4 inch diameter. It needs to be replaced. Okay, so it's half the size. It needs to be replaced, or what there is there's a wire that runs down the center, and then it's about 1 inch thick rod or close to it. And if you see at any spot in that 4 or 5 foot section that zinc is all the way down to the little metal rod that's in the center, it needs to be replaced as well.
Now, do you really get to that point where you change that part on your water heater, or just does the whole thing go?
The whole rod.
I'm saying the whole water heater.
No. You could actually, if you change this, and according to Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, they're recommending at least every 3 years to take a look at it. And they have found many that are just gone in 3 years. I mean, they're nothing but just a thin piece of, it looks like somebody was building a candle, just a thin wire hanging after 3 years. That's some bad water. But they've seen some that are just in pristine condition, but you never know. So, no, if you maintain
I've never
that-
heard any of maintenance on a water heater. I've just
Absolutely.
heard my water heater went and I got a new one.
Yeah, well, you know what? And most likely, if you pulled the anode rod out
It's
of the
gone.
center, it was just disintegrated.
Sure.
So if you were to take that out periodically, flush the water heater periodically, it's going to help to keep that water heater not only more energy efficient, which is one of the second largest energy robbing things in your home. It's also going to stop you from having to replace that water heater prematurely. So that's the tip of the day by Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, 866-8675-309. Give them a call if you want to hear a little bit more about your water heater, making sure that you can maintain it properly and keep it in good running condition and keep the cost down. Now, does size matter? Well, what we're talking about today, I do what we call load calculations for the air conditioning industry. I've done it for 10, 15 years. Well, now it is code as of March of this year by the state that every single house that has the air conditioning system replaced is required to have a new heat loss, heat gain, or load calculation, as we call it, done on the house. We've talked about it on the show many times in the past. Basically means that we have to go out and remeasure the house. We have to take a look at what the house was built out of, what's in the attic for insulation, what type of ductwork, how many people, what appliances, all these different things come into factor. Well, what I'm seeing in the industry, and there is a way to track it, but unfortunately, because the municipalities do not charge for the load calculation, there's no additional revenue coming in for them that could allow them to hire somebody with the knowledge to check these load calculations to see if they're accurate. But what's happening is contractors are going into homes, they're not doing load calculations, they're replacing like for like, and then having a load calculation done, just a generic load calculation. So we're not serving the purpose. Okay, we're not serving the purpose of what they're there for. They're a pain in the butt. Yeah, I agree.
It's a rule now with a real big hole in the bottom because
Exactly. There's no way there. I shouldn't say no way. There is a way to police it, but it's not going to happen because there's no money to make it to do it. So homeowners, for the same reason that we started this show,
Why
have to
doesn't it
educate
just go
themselves more.
along with the permit? You have to
It
have it
does.
to get a permit.
You do.
Okay.
You have
Oh,
to have-
but they've got like this generic printed out piece of paper that. Here
Well,
it
what
is.
the, yeah,
Okay,
what the
we'll put your
contractors
address
are
on the
doing
top.
exactly is
Okay.
what they're doing is they're going out and selling the air conditioning system. Well, there's a 3-ton unit there. I'm going to sell you a 3-ton unit.
Mm-hmm.
They go back to their office. They pull out this 3-ton load calculation. They fill in the information for the homeowner and they turn it in. Well, the cities, the governments, the municipalities locally, they get the permit. They get the load calculation. They don't know if that's what should be there. All they're going by is you're handing me a load calculation with the information from the homeowner for a 3-ton system that it says the house should have. You've installed a 3-ton system. Oh, okay, I'm happy. And that's what.
Really, though, why should they care?
Well, you know,
why make a rule then?
Well, for the purpose of it's what is the purpose of the load calculation? Well, the purpose is to make sure that the right size air conditioning system is going in the house. Because most of the houses have air conditioning systems that are way too large. And what I've done is I've created a load calculation. And we're going to, by your questions and listeners' questions at 340-1590, you're going to call in and ask me to change things in the house. And we're going to see how each one of those changes directly affects the size of the air conditioning system. Okay, because folks go with this, 400 square foot per ton. So if my house is 1,600 square foot, I'm going to put a 4-ton unit in.
Okay, but what if you have that same size house, but you have really tall ceilings? Does that change
That's
things?
what we're going to take that. We're going
Okay.
to take
So
that
that's
exact
what you're looking for.
question.
Okay.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm
Okay.
looking for. What if the house was a frame house instead of a brick house? What if I had no siding on the house versus stucco or vinyl siding? What if I had only a couple inches of insulation in the attic versus 12 or 13, 14 inches of insulation in the attic? Well, what if my house, so these are the kind of questions. What if my house faces east-west versus north or south? So what I have here in front of me, and we'll take a break and we'll come back. I have a 1,536 square foot home, just kind of your standard home that's got a garage, kind of like your little L-shaped home with a garage in front of it. Nothing fancy, average amount of windows, a little bit 3x5 here, 3x5, a 4x5 here. And currently I have the front of the house facing north. Okay, so when we come back, I'm going to go through what my house is originally set up at, and then I want listeners to call in, and I want them to ask me to change
something about the house.
Something about the house so that we can hear how that affects the tonnage of the air conditioning system. You're listening to Comfort Time Live. I'm Tom Platania, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Elite Electric.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Ooh, amazing.
Elite Electric.
Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie.
Elite Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family-owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at eliteelectricandair.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live Friday mornings at 11 on WPSL 1590.
No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite.
And we'll get the job done.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Benjamin Franklin Plumbing has extended its hours of operation. Their Jackpot 777 promotion allows you to receive service 7 days a week from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. at no additional cost. Also, as a bonus, if you mention this radio station when scheduling your appointment, you'll receive a 7% discount.
Fantastic!
Call 866-867-5309 to schedule your appointment today. Promotional offer is subject to availability and cannot be combined with other discounts or coupons. Excludes holidays.
Known for helping you keep that spark, now they'll help you keep cool. Elite Electric and Air, the official air conditioning sponsor of Comfort Time Live, has provided the best in heating and cooling customer service since 1988. If your electric bill is costing you more than 12 cents per square foot under air, you may be overpaying the utility company. Elite Electric and Air can help put that cash back in your pocket. Call Elite Electric and Air with 24-hour service. Dial 340-3797. That's 340-3797.
All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen, and we have our trivia question. 340-1590, the first caller to get it correct. Let's see, what did we offer last week? Last week, I think we had a plumbing. Let's do air conditioning this week. So if you guess this correct trivia question, 340-1590, we're going to give you a one-time free heating and air conditioning inspection by our sponsor, Elite Electric and Air Conditioning, at no cost. So the trivia question, 340-1590, the first caller. Which insect kills more people than any other insect? Which insect kills more people than any other insect? Is it A, wasp, B, bumblebee, or C, mosquito? Which insect kills more people than any other insect? Wasp, a bumblebee, or mosquito? And remember, all these trivia questions are from the book, The Best Trivia Book Ever, by Jane Flynn, who graciously provided this book to me, as long as I'd make sure I mentioned that she was the wonderful young lady that wrote it. So, all right, so let's talk about the air conditioning system. So first off, we're going to start off with our house. Our house is 1,538 square foot house, 36 square feet. The front of the house faces north. Nothing odd about the house. I have the house set up as a CBS house, a brick house.
Okay.
8-inch blocks. I have it started with stucco or siding. Okay. The attic is vented. I have R30, which is about 12 inches of insulation. The house is on a slab. All the windows are single pane clear, and the wood and the door is one door, which is a 3x7 door, is a solid wood. Okay. I have 4 occupants in the home with one refrigerator, basic appliances, refrigerator, a stove, microwave, one of each. And the ductwork is in the attic, of course. It has asphalt shingles that are light color, not dark, they're light. And it's newer ductwork. So when I say newer ductwork, it means that the ductwork is 1.5 inches thick. Okay.
So everything's in good working order.
Everything's in fairly good working condition. Nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing that would be an oddity in this house. Okay. And I have this slated, which this isn't going to make a big difference. There's actually different areas in Florida that you have to, based on where your home is. So for this one, the temperature conditions are for West Palm area. So you would have a Miami, a West Palm, a Vero Beach, Port St. Lucie has one, and then so on and so
I'm
forth.
sure a lot of people are thinking, well, what's the difference? But I do know the frost line runs
Right, up to
through Vero Beach.
Yeah, and
so
it's not a huge difference.
It's going to be a little bit different,
Yeah,
though.
and it's less than a degree. So it may be like 90.2. In fact,
so it's like a tropical, subtropical. What is it
well,
that
we're more concerned with the heat temperature than
Okay.
the cold temperature because we're not.
I was
really,
thinking humidity even.
Yeah, no, there's not a big difference in humidity.
Okay.
Because what we're doing is we're designing the interior of the home. We're not worried about the exterior humidity. We're only worried about the temperature. The indoor humidity, we set that for 50%.
And that should be the same no matter where you live.
No matter where you live,
Okay.
you want it around 50%. Now, for this, because we have chosen, and Wes will be with you in just a second, we have chosen West Palm Beach, which is 90.2. Okay? If we were to change that, 34986. If we were to change that to Port St. Lucie, which gives us Vero Beach.
Okay.
This program I have, it's the iPad version. It only gives me Vero or West Palm, 90.6. So
Okay,
4/10 of a degree. Not going to make a huge difference. Not going to make a huge difference. All right, let's go to Wes on line 1. I think Wes has the answer to our question. Good morning, Wes.
Good morning. How are you folks doing today?
We're doing awesome, Wes. How about yourself?
Great.
Thanks
Great.
for listening.
Good information you put out every time you come on, so we appreciate it out here.
Well, thank you very much, Wes. Where's out here?
I'm sorry?
Where's out here? Just Radio Land?
I'm in Port St. Lucie.
Oh, okay. Well, I really appreciate that, Wes. And hey, remember, if there's anything you ever want to hear specifically, don't ever hesitate to send me an email or give us a call.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
All right.
Okay, when you were talking about the little buggies here, the first
Yes.
thing that came to mind was malaria. So I'm gonna have to go with mosquito.
You got that 100% correct, Wes. That is
Yay.
right. Yes. So it is mosquito because of that, because of the different diseases that mosquitoes carry. That is 100% correct. All right. Well, wonderful, Wes. Well, I have your phone number. I appreciate you listening. We're going to go ahead and turn that over to John over at Elite Electric and Air, and he's going to give you a call with his an opportunity at your convenience to schedule that one-time free heating and air conditioning tune-up.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Wes.
I'll continue listening and keep up the good work.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You bet. Have a great day now.
You too, sir. All right, let's go to line 2. We have Lynn. Hello, Lynn.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, dear. How are you?
I'm fine. I think the answer is mosquito.
It is mosquito. You are 100% correct, Lynn. You are 100%. Now, Wes already answered it for you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to John at Elite Electric and Air and see what he might be able to offer for you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, dear. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
All right, wonderful. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're looking for. So back to not a huge difference in the temperature.
Okay.
So, a lot of what we're doing is the outside temperature does make a difference. because of the load that you're putting on the outside unit. And actually, in some commercial instances, there's actually companies that design these misting systems. Now, they're not the misting ones you see at these restaurants that are heat hot. I mean, kind of the same concept, but they're very detailed. And what they do is they actually mist onto the big, gigantic commercial units, or if they have lots of units, to keep the temperature of the air around the unit to help make it more efficient. And it makes a huge difference, especially when they're up on the roofs and there's tar roof and whatnot. You got that 130 degree beating off of there.
Now what you're saying is the temperature in our region wouldn't be like the air conditioner that you would use in our region may not be the same for the exact same house for someone installing in, say, Arizona, where it's over 100 degrees.
Absolutely,
okay,
100%.
So that's why that is important.
It's important because of that. That is correct. That has to be taken into consideration. So yes. All right. So let's start off with a simple one. So right now, based on those conditions, it's telling me that this house requires 3 tons of air conditioning. Okay. Well, wait a minute. That doesn't. Okay, 400 square foot per ton. That would be a 4-ton system. Well, not quite a 4-ton system, but I got 1,500 square feet. So that's kind of in between 400 and 500 square foot per ton. But that's kind of a guesswork. So let's kind of play around with the numbers. The first thing I want to do, which is actually the biggest fault, and if you want to give me some suggestions, give us a call here, 340-1590, and just throw something at me, whether it's I want you to put overhangs on all the windows or something like that, and we'll put in there. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the direction of the house. Now, in this house, I do not have a lot of windows. Now, I have a couple bigger windows facing south, but I have a window on every wall of the house, okay? But there's not a lot of windows, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, right now, the computer says 2.9 tons. But here's another thing that a lot of contractors don't realize and get caught up on. It's not just the tonnage that the computer tells you. There's numbers that go with that. And not to get too complicated, but there's BTUs for an air conditioning system. A 4-ton unit is 48,000. So for every ton of air conditioning, it's 12,000 BTUs. All right, just 12,000. So you think for a 3-ton unit, well, we need 36,000. Well, just because the house is saying 3 tons doesn't mean that that's the exact number that it's calling for. Okay, it may be calling for more than 36,000. Okay, so we have to keep those numbers in mind. So right now, even though it says 2.9 tons, the house is calling for 31,756. Well, that's not 3 tons. Now, it's a little bit more than 2.5 tons, okay, but because of some of the factors in the house, it's saying that we need to go with 3 tons in order to get. So, not to get too complicated. So let's just change the direction of the house. So we're going to change it so that the front of the house is facing east. Okay? Now, I changed that. The house went to 3.2 tons just by changing that direction. And I don't have a lot of windows. Now, imagine if the direction facing, like let's say for instance, right now, on the west side of the house, which would have been the back side of the house earlier, I have a window that is 7 by 5. Okay? It's not even quite a sliding glass door. Let's change that. Let's say somebody on their back wall, let's say somebody had a double sliding glass door. So that a sliding glass door is typically 8 foot by 6 foot by 7 foot. 6 foot wide so let's put 2 double slides, so that's 12 foot. So we're going to get 12 foot by 7 foot. Okay, which now this sliding glass door is facing west. Now remember, just a few minutes ago I had a 7 by 5 door window there facing west. I added that double sliding glass door. It brought the unit all the way up to 3.8 tons. Almost 4 tons of air conditioning.
Well, because you lost a lot of wall and you put in a lot of window.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. How could we have the same house and we just made 2 minor changes and we've gone up a ton of air conditioning already? Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, stand in front of a window though with the sun beating
yeah, and this is the point we're trying to get across through this whole time today.
through. And if you're like me, you go for the 8-foot slider because it's just nicer.
That's exactly it. Oh, I've seen houses that the
Yeah.
entire back
Yeah,
walls.
where they kind of they pocket.
Yeah,
those are
and
beautiful.
They're gorgeous,
Yes.
but if we walked into that house,
Energy efficient? Not really.
if
Who
we-
cares? They're
yeah.
pretty.
So all right, so let's kind of go to the little next thing here. Let's so we've made two minor changes. We changed the direction of the house,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and we just added a double slider in the back. That's not a big change. Still 1,536
Same
square
house.
foot, same house. All right, so let's go over to the details. So remember, we have the house as a block house. Let's make a major change there. Let's say that the house isn't block. Let's say it's frame.
Stucco over frame?
Let's say it's a frame
Okay.
construction house. So we're going to change this to frame.
Now, does it matter stucco or siding over frame? Will that minor?
We're going to show you.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so right now we're going to leave the insulation, because on a block house typically there's no exterior insulation except for the stucco or siding. Okay. So we went to a frame house. Okay. We didn't add any insulation. Now on a frame house there's insulation in the wall, but we didn't add insulation right now. We stuck with the same thing we had, stucco siding but frame construction. It went up to 4.1 tons. Okay, not a big change. Here's where the big change is going to come. When you build a house out of frame, you have usually 2x4s in the wall. Okay, they insulate those walls. Okay, 4 inches of
Or
insulation.
you hope so.
Oh, gosh, we hope so.
Yeah, hope so.
4 inches of insulation is going to give you about an R11. Okay, so we're going to put R11 on there, and we're going to see what the change. The house now dropped all the way back down to 3.2 tons. So a whole ton of air conditioning just by putting R11 in the walls. Right back down again. So we're up and down just by making minor changes. Now, we have the house as stucco siding. You can make it brick veneer too if you wanted to. So let's just put brick veneer out there. Let's say somebody built a beautiful house. They wanted to put brick veneer on the outside. That dropped it all the way down to 3 tons even. Minor changes. Okay? So let's put the house back as a masonry house. Let's put it back stucco siding. Well, what if I were to fill the blocks in the house? Most of the time they build a house, all the 8-inch blocks are wide open. They're hollow. Well, let's say some of these houses now, they're filling them. They're putting stuff inside them. Well, let's fill this masonry house. Keep the stucco siding, and let's fill the core with that. Where's that bring us to? So I brought it back to the masonry house where I was, which was at 4 tons. Okay, that brought us down a half a ton just by filling the inside of the blocks with stuff. All right, let's put it back.
Well, you can even have a block house where they do the little furring strips and they put the Celotex type stuff on the block before they drywall.
that's
So
a
it's
good
an insulated block house.
Yeah. So we have that's a cavity insulation. Basically, that
Okay.
that would be. So let's say we're gonna do actually no. You know what? That's going to be back over here under this. So if it's just the little furring strip with a little bit, probably going to be like an R2 or an R3, let's say, just about an inch or so insulation. Let's say it's an R3. Okay. We were at 4 tons. Just putting that little fairing strip with the insulation around it brings us to 3.3 tons. So over a half a ton of air conditioning just by putting the fairing strip and the insulation around the inside of the house.
Now, is that saving me money?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, it's saving you money. Because first off, if I had a 4-ton system,
Would I pay? I'm going to pay more for the 4 ton than the 3 ton.
that's number
first of all.
one up front.
Okay.
Plus, you're going to pay more electricity
Running it. Okay.
Correct. So those are the two biggest
So
things.
little insulation goes a long way.
Absolutely, and that's what the important thing of having the air conditioning. Does size matter? Does the right size air conditioning matter? Absolutely, it does.
Something like the same house there. I think that skylights are really pretty.
We're going to put skylights in.
Okay.
Let's put some skylights in here. So let's go back to no furring in the wall. Let's go back to the 4-ton unit that we were at. All right, 3.8 tons. Let's put skylights here. So we have, how many skylights you want?
Well, let's put one in the kitchen and
Okay.
one in the bathroom
All
and the
right.
master
How big are
bathroom. Oh, I don't know. How big do they
Okay,
come? The
let's say
little ones, the smaller ones.
3 foot,
Yeah.
or just like a little 2x2?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we're going to have
light
3
in.
2x2s. Okay. They're going to be single pane clear?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah,
Well,
this
we,
is-
you know, we wanted to
let's
be.
stand on
We wanted
single
to
pane clear.
stand up in a hurricane.
Okay, so single pane clear. If we have 3 of them that are 2x2, that's 4 square foot. That's 3. That's 12 square foot of skylight. Okay, and then we're going to find out. Is it metal? Let's do wood. Actually, nowadays it would probably be metal. Are they curved? Are they dome shape? Is it there light shafts?
does that all matter?
Oh, it all matters.
Let's go with the flat ones because those
Okay,
would be
flat
easy to
ones.
cover in a hurricane.
Okay, orientation. Okay, so that right there, we were at 3.8 tons. It brought us up to 4 tons even.
Just by putting in skylights.
Just by putting in 3 skylights. Okay, so let's wipe these skylights out. All right,
No skylights for me.
No skylight.
I'm
All right, we're
sorry.
going to go ahead and take another quick break here, but there's a theme going on here, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, if I was a homeowner, can I watch you calculate my house right there on your iPad?
Absolutely, because
Loving
I actually
that iPad.
Oh, I love this iPad. I actually will, for Comfort Time Live listeners only, I will do a load calculation on your house. There will be a charge for the time. There's a form that I can email over to you. You fill out the form completely. Okay. I pull your house up on the property appraiser. So the only thing I would need for you would be to draw your home and just put where the windows are and the sizes of the windows. Now, do that for $50 for you. And then you would have a legal load calculation that is the same document that I do for air conditioning contractors, but we're going to do it based on the reality of your home and not what the contractor is saying. Well, I'm putting 3 tons in. I'm going to put there's 3 tons there. I'm going to put 3 tons in. So now I have to make the load calculation fit what he's putting back in, not what should be there. So I'll do that. All right, we'll be back. You listen to Comfort Time Live.
Elite Electric.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Ooh, amazing.
Elite Electric.
Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie.
Elite Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at eliteelectricandair.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live Friday mornings at 11 on WPSL 1590.
No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite.
And we'll get the job done.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Benjamin Franklin Plumbing has extended its hours of operation. Their Jackpot 777 promotion allows you to receive service 7 days a week from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. at no additional cost. Also, as a bonus, if you mention this radio station when scheduling your appointment, you'll receive a 7% discount.
Fantastic.
Call 866-867-5309 to schedule your appointment today. Promotional offer is subject to availability and cannot be combined with other discounts or coupons. Excludes holidays.
Known for helping you keep that spark, now they'll help you keep cool. Elite Electric and Air, the official air conditioning sponsor of Comfort Time Live, has provided the best in heating and cooling customer service since 1988. If your electric bill is costing you more than 12 cents per square foot under air, you may be overpaying the utility company. Elite Electric and Air can help put that cash back in your pocket. Call Elite Electric and Air with 24-hour service. Dial 340-3797. That's 340-3797.
All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Comfort Time Live. You heard our sponsors there to help keep Comfort Time Live on the air. So today we're talking about the size of your air conditioning, how the differences in your home can affect that. We've talked quite a few things. Right now our house is sitting at 3.8 tons. Why? We have a 1,536 square foot house that is now facing east, and we put a big double slider on the back. Originally, the house was facing north with only a single window in the back, and we were only at 2.9 tons. So just those two changes, we put a ton
Yeah,
of
we've
air
already done
conditioning.
skylights, and we've decided we don't want them anymore.
So right now the house is back to a block house with stucco siding, no other insulation. So let's go to the attic.
Okay.
And the insulation in the attic. Right now the house currently has R30, which is about 12 inches of insulation.
Now, if somebody just built a house, the builder puts in, is that what they're
R30
getting?
is standard.
Okay.
Yeah, R30
so-
would be standard. They can ask for more, which is always smart. There's different types of things. They have the isonines, which is the spray-on in the ceiling.
Okay.
There's all kinds of stuff out there. But typically on the newer homes, there should be at least an R30 put in there. But always ask and always double check because, some of these builders,
A lot of people may not even know.
they might not know, and the builder will put in there whatever he wants to save money. So let's go ahead and change. Let's say this is an older home, been sitting around for a while, 20, 30 years old. Maybe they had 2x4 ceiling, and they just put enough insulation in to cover the 2x4. Well, that would be about an R13 originally. Well, let's say, over time, it's kind of been swished away, pushed away, kind of deteriorated a little bit. Let's put it as an R11, okay? Which is only going to be, maybe 2-3 inches of insulation, if that. That brought our house from 3.8 tons to 4.3 tons just by making that little change, just in the attic. It's the same house. Now, they don't make a 4.3 ton system, okay? So you would probably have to go to a 5-ton system in order to handle the amount of heat load on this house
But
now.
still, if I call some guy who's not going to check, I'm going to go back with that 3, and it's going to be hot in my house.
Exactly. And you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be satisfied, okay?
And I'm not going to be happy if the guy goes, well, you need more insulation in your attic. I'm going to go,
Yeah, they should do. So these are the things that these guys should be going through your entire house ahead of time and say, by doing this load calculation, when I do them, I play around with the numbers a little bit to look at, okay, we're at a 5-ton unit now, but if you can spend $700 and put R30, R39 insulation in your attic, you can go with a 4-ton system, which the cost may be about the same up front.
As the
because
insulation?
You may spend $700 more to buy a 5-ton, but you're going to spend $700 on the insulation. But, okay, now you're even. But now you're a whole ton air conditioning less of electricity for the rest of the life of that air conditioner. Which the other benefit to that is if the air conditioner is oversized, it can't control humidity as well in the house because it shuts off and turns on too quickly. So it's not reducing humidity. Well, if we reduce humidity, you want to turn the temperature higher because it's cooler than it was before because the humidity is lower. So there's all kinds of diverse effects with this. So it's why it's so important to have this done. So we put it back to R30. Here's a big change. We're going to play around with the ductwork. Okay. Right now, I have the ductwork in a vented attic, which would be an average home's
Right.
attic, asphalt shingles,
okay.
light. The ductwork is what we call trunk and branch. It's like a caterpillar, a giant lawn with just the little branches popping out, standard. The ceiling of the house is average, okay, which means it's average construction. There's not a lot of gaps and leaks and holes. Well, wait a minute. If it's an older home, okay, and it's been around for a while, and it's got some creaks and cracks to it, that thing's not going to be an average seal. It's going to be maybe notable, or partial or unsealed or something along those. That's going to make a difference. Well, let's say the old ductwork that's in there is maybe an R2 or an R4, maybe only 1 inch, or maybe not even that because it's so old. Let's go down to an R2 because there are homes that are 20, 30 some years old that have the same ductwork in them, and the homeowner says, I don't want to replace the ductwork right now. I just want to replace the system. Remember, okay, so the only thing I did was changed the insulation value on the ductwork, okay? We were at 3.8 tons, okay? 4.6 tons just by the ductwork alone. Okay, that's huge. Now I have the house is set up for 9-foot ceilings with 4 people in the house. So let's put the ductwork back to what ductwork right now would be if it was installed, which is 1.5 inches, which is R6. Okay. Now, let's say the ductwork's in the house. It's not in the attic, which is what we call conditioned space. Okay. So let's say that it's in a drop portion of the ceiling, but both sides of the ductwork are insulated, are air conditioned. Okay, that happens.
Yeah, like running through a bulkhead or something.
Kind of,
Is that-
sort of, as long as it's air conditioned on both sides.
Or like a 2-story house would be that way too,
Yep, it'd be in
because
conditioned space.
Okay.
Because both sides, upstairs and downstairs, are both conditioned, so it's not going to be like 140 degrees in that space.
Okay.
Okay. So we would call that conditioned space. Once again, we were at 3.8 tons. Back all the way down to 2.9 tons, just because the ductwork is in a conditioned space. Okay, all these differences, huge. Okay, so let's go back. Let's put the ductwork back in the attic. And you had asked a question about the roof. Now, when we change the roof, I have to change it in 2 different spots. I have to change it in one section because of the ductwork. Okay, because if the ductwork's in the attic, the value of the ductwork is going to be directly affected based on the ceiling. So I'm going to change, and you said you wanted to go with tile, slate, or metal.
Sure.
Which one?
Well, let's go with the metal.
Let's go with the metal. So we're going to go metal or membrane. Okay. Make sure I got that set up right. Yeah, metal. Okay. Still light, obviously. Let's go there, and let's go back over here to this other page where we have our ceiling, and we have metal, we have light, not white but light. Okay, and we are at not a huge difference, 3.7 tons.
Okay, so we're looking at light color shingles and light color metal, and it's pretty much the same thing.
Not much of a difference.
Now, if you were to, because going from a frame house to a concrete house made a big difference.
Yes, huge.
Now, what if your roof is tile?
Okay.
Because then that would be also a stone surface.
Right, so we're going to go with tile, slate, or concrete. And then let's go back over here to the ductwork. And we're going to change that on the ductwork.
That wouldn't remain the same?
No, the ductwork will make the same, but we have to change the roof material for the ductwork as well. In this program, it I don't know why it doesn't automatically do it. So if I change the roofing of the house, it doesn't automatically go in and change the roof material under the ductwork. I have to manually change it myself. That went actually down to 3.4 tons.
Okay, so that would be a good thing.
So that's a good thing. So tile or slate in your home is actually a little bit better. It actually saved us 0.5 tons, a half a ton of air conditioning. Or not half a ton. Half a ton would be 6. So almost a half a ton of air conditioning just by changing the thing. Now, imagine when you built your house, you took all these little things. You built a tile roof. You faced the house the right way, or found a lot that was faced the right way. These little things. Now, let's say the roof height. Let's go back and let's change. Let me put all the back to asphalt shingles. And still got R30 in the attic. We're going to go back to asphalt shingles light. So let's go to what were we just looking at? We were asking about what were we asking about? We'll go to find it here. We were asking about the shingles. We got that.
Oh, the height of the ceiling.
The height of the ceiling. There we
Yes.
go. So we want to go. Here we go. We want to go. So right now I have the average height of a home, 9 foot, and that's the average. So you're going to have a house. Now, unless I draw, and I have this program at home, unless I draw every individual room and tell the computer program what the specific height of every individual room is, you basically take an average. So most of your bedrooms are going to be 8-9 foot ceilings. And then you may come into the living room where you have a slightly vaulted ceiling, and then the kitchen sometimes can be vaulted. So you would do it would be an average. So this one I had the room height is 9. But let's say we have we have cathedral ceilings, but then the rest of the house is 8 foot. So we may have an average of 10 or 12 foot. Okay. Let's just, for argument's sake, let's say we're at 9 now. Let's change it to 12. Okay. Well, you got to think about this. Is we're changing the cubic foot now of the home,
Of the conditioned air.
of the conditioned air.
Yeah.
We went to 12-foot ceilings versus 9-foot ceilings. Didn't change anything else. We went from 3.9 to 4.3 tons. Once again, almost a half a ton of air
So
conditioning.
they really knew something way back in the like olden days when they first started building here in Florida with the poured concrete walls, the really squatty little houses with the flat roofs. They were keeping cool without air conditioning.
Exactly.
You know,
And
those
that's why
nice
some people today
terrazzo floors.
they don't want air. And that makes a difference too. I mean, there's actually places in here when we're looking at the floor, it says on grade, which is the slab. There's actually calculations in here that ask me what the soil type is that the house is. Now, it's not going to make a huge difference here, but
It's Florida. We're on a big sandbar.
in the big program, it asks me, is it carpet, is it tile, and that will make a difference.
Sure, because carpet is going to be, any upholstery in the house is going to take on the temperature of the
tile's
room.
going to be good. You walk
And the
on
tile's
tile,
gonna be
tile's always
cool.
cooler.
Yes.
Exactly,
Yeah.
always cooler. So we're coming too close to the end of the show, but you have to see the importance of this, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm telling you right now, 98% of the companies coming out to your home are not doing a legitimate load calculation on your house. The way you're going to know it is if they do it in front of you, okay? And I know very few companies do it, because just pulling it up and going to the property appraiser and drawing the house out, you have to be at the home to look at the insulation in the attic.
Well, if they come in and they just sit in your living room and they go, okay, what do you got already? What's under the hood? And, how many people live here and how cool do you like to keep it?
Yeah.
But they don't ask you those. They don't look at the house, how many windows are in the house, how.
They don't measure them. Are they single pane? Are they double pane? Are they triple pane? Are they low E? What are they? That makes a huge difference. A huge difference. And they're not doing it. And I'm getting requests for load calculations from people. And on my load calculation form, it says, okay, draw the house, tell me the square footage of the windows, which way does the house face? And I'm forever getting these things with nothing on
What
it.
if you simply put a film on the windows and tint the windows a little bit?
It'll help a little bit. Yes, it helps a little bit. It could reduce it by 3, 4, 5,000 BTUs. And all those little things make a huge difference. So if you want to have me do the load calculation for you on your home, it only costs $50. You can email me. Go to comforttimelive@gmail.com. Email me. I'll send you the flyer back. You send it back to me. I'll do a whole house load calculation for you. This way you have a third party that you don't have to worry about somebody trying to just put in what's in there.
And then
All
you
right?
got it for your records, too. You put it in your little file on your house.
And it's the same legal form that's sent to the municipalities upon permitting. Well, thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. Don't miss us next Friday at 11:05 right here on WPSL. I'm Tom Platania. This is Comfort Time Live. Have a great weekend.